right, so Peter.
And before we jump into API testing, why don't we show you like SAP GUI and SAP Fiori? And you would say, boring. For some of you, I know you know this thing already. But funny thing is that with every new client, we always get a question like, does it work on Fiori? Does it work on Z or custom developments? Yes, it does. No, you need to prove it to us. Yeah, so we always get the same question. And I know for some of you, it's obvious. But apparently for many of our new clients, it's always not the case, and they don't believe that actually we can automate any custom transaction of Fiori app or whatever. Right? And API testing. Before we dwell into API testing, I will maybe go back a little bit and again explain you when I realized that test automation for API testing makes really sense. So as I said, like 2 years ago, I implemented this S4HANA Cloud for GasNet, discussed it already, and we had like, we almost finished our UAT, so user acceptance test. We had few, let's say, defects, but we know, okay, this will fix it in, let's say, 2-3 weeks. And then in 1 or 1.5 months, we have a go live. Yeah? Everything well planned until SAP pushed the new release. Yeah? So all of a sudden, I can say that 30% of our API stopped working. And it's not funny because you have, let's say, 1 month before the go live. Yeah? And if I would know what I know today, actually, we would have used Tosca. All what we had to do at that time, we had to manually test all those integrations again and fix it. And sometimes it was stupid thing, yeah. So in the previous version, SAP expected 0. Now with the new version, they changed documentation. They give us 2 weeks, and they said, no, actually it has to be blank. Stupid things like that, yeah. But basically, quite important interfaces, especially for the plant maintenance and for some HR topics, really stop working. Yeah. And with the Tosca, and now even S4HANA, not like I want to promote any other product, but also S4HANA has a built-in, finally they came up with a built-in test automation tool. Unfortunately, the built-in S4HANA Cloud Test Automation can cover only the S4HANA specifics. It cannot cover the side-by-side extensions, yeah, or BTP stuff development. So I think I would still suggest to probably go for a tool like Tosca. Because basically you can save a lot of energy and time, and you can get instant feedback whether the API is still working or not, yeah, with the former design. So that's why I really believe that API testing, automatic API testing, makes sense. And again, it goes back to all these cloud applications. Yeah. Not only, but there is a big portion.
Right. So again, very small test of the APIs. Because basically there is not much behind it. This is just the authentication and just calling of the simple API call. And most of it, as you can see, you can parameterize or customize most of the parameters there. And when this is done, on this you can see that we are just sending a client secret, and then we are receiving it, and then we are logging in and calling really simple return all of the plans. So as you can see, everything is happening in the background, and this is also the good stuff, that since everything is happening in the background, and I would say most of the confusion during the test automation and problems come from the changes of user interface. And this is the thing that here basically you don't have any user interface because you are just calling APIs. So this is for us, let's say, quite low-hanging fruit to get, and with almost zero maintenance. So this is really good with the API testing. And here you can see, probably too small, but this is the Tosca API testing interface. So you can see where is the endpoint, and it's quite good. You can configure the parameters, and this is the result of the call. So again, quite simple stuff, but it's kind of enough All right, and now probably the most interesting part is test design. And I think, Peter, again, if you can start with the introduction.
So, how many of you been to Rome before? Okay, I think quite a few been to Rome, and I think all of you realize or know by now that it's almost impossible to see all the top spots in one day, right? Usually need 2-3 days to see at least the most interesting ones. Yeah. And I've been to Rome a couple of times and always took a different path. You can start with Pantheon, then you can maybe go to Vatican City, Fontana di Trevi, Spanish Steps, and Colosseum. Or probably most of the people start with Colosseum, right? That's where the journey begins. And the thing is, there are so many combinations, even if you have just 5 spots, how to visit them all. And to me, actually, it is also the same stuff. Like I said, I'm an SAP guy. And with SAP, you have all these combinations. So you have company codes, you have plans, you have purchasing organizations, you have sales organization, distribution channels, WBS elements types, you have internal orders, you have business partners as companies, freelancers, whatever, right? Materials, you have service materials, finished, semi-finished, raw materials, whatever, right? So there are so many combinations that I don't think a human being can really test all those possible combinations. Yeah, you can ask the key users and say, oh, hey, do you mind to do a test? Okay, so I'll test it with a LTD, like limited company, and I will have like a positive scenario. And I said, yeah, but actually we have 2 types of materials, right? Can you test both? Yeah, it's not just for limited companies. Oh, okay, we also have this freelancer. So my son at the moment, he's in 7th grade, and they have this, in Slovak we call it combinatoric. I don't know what is the right English term. He's really good at it. Basically, always calculates, okay, I have 27 possible combinations multiplied by 2 and so on. And the same goes with the SAP systems and with any application. So basically endless combinations of data. And again, Peter will showcase you a case from O2 where they also had similar requirement. And this is one of the, so we already heard things like efficiency gains, or sometimes you hear fancy stuff like test case design. Yeah, but basically it's all down to testing all the possible combinations you could think of. And the funny thing is, it's not what you could think of, but Tosca can help you to generate all those combinations up front. Peter?
Thank you. So again, we are back to the O2 customer, and this is the last part of the POC. So imagine that there was a request to create just one happy path going through this all of the screens. So there was this one path which they decided just to check, and you can see at the beginning there are like 4 possibilities. It is a broadband and also telco provider, and you can choose what kind of plan do you want to buy. So there is a blue, silver, gold, and platinum. Then you could go to the what kind of device do you want. If you want to have the what was that? It was the smart and auto box or something. Then you were choosing what kind of TV do you want, what kind of channels do you want, and so on type of customer. So imagine now there is a test manager, and he comes and gives you this task of creating this one happy path. So let's say that we have some young, talented test automation engineer, and he would prepare a test case for this path. And then what happens? Let's say in next week, there is again test automation manager in the doors, and he asks, okay, this is good, this is really working, but we would like to have this second variant. So what our young test automation engineer would do, he has already one test prepared, so he will make a copy of it and just change some things. So obviously that was quite easy to do. And what will happen the next time? Again, there is a test manager with the new combination of data. Oh, again, the same test case almost. So what he will do, he will make copy of the copy and change few data. So, and we could go like this, and at the end we have 3 test cases, and there is a possibility that they would like to test even more. So what would happen if we have a copy of the copy of the copy? So in case you are good in documentation, you can put a lot of things in the name of the test case, but you cannot put all of the data there, right? So, and now what would this test automation do if he would not have a Tosca? And now Tosca comes for the rescue. And this is actually the what is test case design about? Just a second, because we also have people online. So we have to unshare. There again. All screen. So while this is being prepared, so I already prepared a mock-up test, how this would work in theory. So if we would like to start with the, let's say that young, talented automation engineer is a little more talented, and he thought, oh, maybe there could be more possible ways how this could go. And he would prepare not just a simple test case, but he would make it as a template and then connect it to the test case design. And that is exactly what I prepared there. And thank you.
Thank you.
So basically, this is the test case which I prepared before, and I'm just choosing the program itself, and this is the connection to the Tosca test case design. And when we would go now to the Tosca test case design, well, I will try not go into the deep detail. I'll just really quickly explain you what you can do here. Basically, in simple terms, here you can put all your possibilities which would want you to have this test case to work with, or the possibilities and the combinations. And when this is done, so I decided to put their type of plan as gold, blue, silver, platinum. Then if it is Wi-Fi router, smart box, plain TV, Netflix, and so on and so on. And now I will ask Tosca to generate there is a possibility to generate all of the combinations. So now Tosca generated 72 combinations, and this is all of the combinations based on these possibilities what we have in this Tosca design. And as you can see, the first one has gold one, the second one has a blue type of plan. And now, since this template test case is connected to the test case design, we could really easily tell Tosca to generate us all of the template instances. And at the end, what will happen? That we will end up with 72 test cases, which each of the test cases is unique because there are different data entering to the test case. So we can check the first one. And there is a gold, and same as it is here, where there is in the first one was gold. So now imagine we have we were trying it to do it the first way. There was copy of the copy of the copy, and it is so far so good. You have 10 test cases which are almost the same, but at the end not completely same. But then something happens. There will be one more screen, one more screen into the whole equation. So imagine marketing starts new campaign that you can add yourself to the mailing list, and you will get better price for something. And what will happen? That all of the 72 test cases will stop working because there will be one more screen which was not counted before. Right? So again, what you can do if something like this happens, you can go again to the test cases, and we can delete this. And then we can fix the one test case, which is a template test case, and then do again generation of the instances. And then again, you don't have to manually fix 72 test cases, but you are doing this thing only once, and everything is being done for you. Of course, there could be some different paths based on if you have chosen something else, and this is also Tosca can also deal with this. And there is also possibility to do not only positive testing, but you know that if you have some combination of some data, you could do also the negative testing, where before you write what should be the outcome. So this is it. And probably the last thing, maybe can you help me? It's possible also to, right?
Magic hands.
Okay, so you can also put data directly from the Excel to the Tosca, so you don't have to go through this. If you don't like to filling out the Tosca, you can directly link the Excel reference and put the data inside. This was also done for one client, and I think that's it.
Yeah, just maybe let me add something on this one. So basically, we had a request from a client. They said, okay, yeah, this design generation of data is fine, but we already have, like you said, Refu, we already have all these test sheets in our Excel, and we would like you to upload it into the system. We said, okay, yeah, fine, doable. Yeah, so that's also an option, because in many cases, all these SME users, they already have their own sheets, worksheets, or spreadsheets where they keep the different data combinations. Because obviously, I mean, the test case design and generation is perfect, but we all know that usually not all combinations are valid. Yeah, sometimes you have only different combinations that are valid, and typically this is stored in the minds of these users, right? Or hopefully in some system documentation. Okay. So Peter, thank you. And now we have a first question.
Test case is Excel. Ist Tosca Praxis, sagt ich, Tosca Best Praxis ist 100 Instanzen, oder? Wenn man hat 200 Instanzen, das geht nicht sagen, ist ein Wissenschaft.
Actually, it was just as a showcase so there are more possibilities. You can do orthogonal generation and not all of the instances, but it is just for purpose of the demonstration. So I would not advise to do it, and I think even Tosca is not advised to do.
Basically, if I may quickly jump in here. So what we actually recommend, and also what was kind of invented by Wolfgang Platz, was the linear combination, right? So people don't see. Was the linear combination, right? We had different wordings for it. Currently, it's really linear combination, and here you get a little more test cases than with orthogonal, but you're not changing too much per variation, right? You're always changing one object per variation, because if you think about automation, the thing is not that the waste of time basically is the execution, because execution is done by the machine, right? You don't care. But the big time consuming part of test automation is the analysis of the failed test cases, right? If you have like 10,000 test cases and like 20% fail, you have to still check more than like thousands of test cases, right? And if you can reduce the number of test cases, you can definitely do these checks way quicker, because if you just have 2,000 test cases, you don't need so much time for checking. And if you have designed your test cases in a way that you do not change too much per variation, then you exactly know this test case, if that one fails and the test case before was okay, you know exactly the reason why it failed, right? If you have like an insurance calculator for male and female, like the male version went through, the female version failed, then you know, okay, that was because of the gender, right? And that is something where you also gain speed in analyzing failed test cases. And that is where like linear combination is quite strong, building more than orthogonal test cases, but still having control over like failures of your test cases. Because otherwise, if you change everything, like all these variables, what you have seen, like, I don't know what exactly it was, but if you have like 5 different instances, basically, and you change all of them, you have to check the test case from the beginning to the end, like what actually failed.
Das ist nicht effizient.
Exactly.
Es geht um diese paarweise Testing-Methode sozusagen. Kann man kombinieren, aber nicht.
Yes, and you always have.
Yes,
you cannot combine everything with everything. You definitely, it has to make sense from a business perspective. Some things you cannot combine, right? And that's definitely something that you just, for example, like check like a motorbike insurance by using a car, right? It's a combination that doesn't make sense.
Das ist interessant für mich, aber ich habe Beispiele, wo ich glaube, ich Funktionen mit Ruderfahrer. Kombiniere ich das.
Ja.
Ich will das, aber ich sage nicht Tosca bis 100 Instanzen, weil ich habe bei meiner Tosca Pro mit Beispiel des Scrollen, da mache ich mehr extra.
Ja.
Oder bei Suchen, weil das ist nicht bei 100, 200 Testsheet, nicht 200 Testseries. Das Best Practice for Tosca bis 100.
Yeah, I mean, the best practices. So the question was about the best practices of test case design, right? So if there is kind of a limit of 100 combinations, basically, I totally agree. But there is also the point in time where it makes sense to maybe even like split the test sheet into multiple test sheets, and you have like the use of the classes, right? There is a class function where you can just reuse again some parts of it. And then you can easily split it. If you change it in one test sheet, it will be changed in all 4 test sheets, right? So there is again many options to keep maintenance low. Right?
Aber wenn ich finde einen Weg, das kann ich besser scrollen.
We're working on it. So we are constantly working on making it better. We have like the new product, Tricentis TTA, right? The new cloud product, what already has been released in January. And there will be a new version for sure of these Tosca features, right? And definitely will improve this as well. We know these kind of pain points as well, definitely.
So viel Probleme kann ich mit Texte lösen. Kann ich extra statt das benutzen?
Yes, you can.
Aber okay, Verluste gibt es immer.
Definitely, you can use Excel as a source instead of test case design. That works definitely.
Ich habe Probleme, wenn ich so viele, das kann ich nicht für Klasse nehmen. Oder habe ich weggefunden.
There are many options, definitely, yeah. Thank you.
Es gibt einen Kurs mehr oder weniger.
Yeah. All right, sorry.
No, you're welcome. I would like to also remind people that are online, they can also post questions via the online channel. There is a button QA on top, so feel free to hit it. But anyone else, any other questions from the audience? Okay, then
Thank you.
thank you, Peter. We will have a slightly longer break and we'll resume in 40 minutes. Okay. Then we continue with Vision AI.